The dragon is a mythical monster that acts as a gatekeeper of the unknown. This is one of the lost cards of the tarot and has an esoteric meaning of harmony. Hello, I'm Michael J. Auger, creator of the Allcento Tarot, and today let's explore the history of the 26th card of the Major Arcana. In the Middle Ages, people believed in dragons in the same way they believed in elephants and other exotic animals. Nobody had ever seen one, but everyone seemed to know someone who knew someone who had. There are a few mysterious tarot cards whose place in history is debated by historians and scholars. The Goldschmidt tarot includes a card that features a crowned creature that some interpret as a dolphin or a whale, but most describe as a dragon. Dragons were seen as the ultimate challenger that a chivalrous knight must face in order to complete their quest. Dragons are also thought of as guardians of treasure, but whether this treasure is material or spiritual depends on who's telling the tale. Ancient map makers illustrated images of dragons at the edges of their maps to represent uncharted territory. And so dragons can be thought of as gatekeepers of secret knowledge and enlightenment. Some of the oldest still existing tarot decks were commissioned by the Visconti Sforza family. This family's heraldic charge is the Bestiane, which means large snake, and features a blue or green dragon with a red human in its mouth. The origins of this image are unknown. However, according to legend, around the year 1100, during the Second Crusade, Antone Visconti challenged Saracen Veloci to a duel. Visconti is said to have won the duel and took the weapons of Veloci that featured a dragon back to Milan, adopting the coat of arms as his own. The Rosenthal tarot includes a dragon card that resembles the Visconti heraldic device, and this card could be simply explained as a joker or a filler card. However, some believe the dragon was originally a triumph card of the Major Arcana that was forgotten over the course of history. Another version of the tarot's dragon card is currently kept in the Hesburgh Library at the University of Notre Dame, but instead of a blue or green serpent used by the Visconti family, this dragon is painted pink. This suggests it may be something more than simply a vanity card. It appears as though the dragon is consuming a man. However, it is said to actually depict a man emerging from the mouth of the dragon being reborn. This theme of overcoming trial in order for resurrection into a purified, higher state of being corresponds with the story from the book of Jonah, in which Jonah chooses to sail away from the divine path and his true purpose. When a storm arises to punish Jonah, he is thrown overboard by the other sailors as a sacrifice. Jonah is then swallowed by a giant fish that he remains inside of for 3 days and 3 nights. While inside, he repents and vows to follow the divine path he knows he must take. Only then, in an act of divine intervention, the giant sea serpent vomits him out. Being reborn from the mouth of the dragon represents a powerful transformation essential for progress on the spiritual path. The image of a serpent dragon swallowing a man can also be seen in artwork depicting Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec god, linked with death and rebirth. Although any connection to the Italian Bestiane is unlikely, it is fascinating how this archetype is shared in the collective unconscious. In the Allcento tarot, the dragon is brought back into the tarot as the 26th card of the Major Arcana. As the 6th card in the third and final cycle of 10, it corresponds with cards 6 and 16, which also feature a unicursal star with 6 points. The choice card signifies the harmony of free will and fate, choosing the path we know we must take. The Thunderbolt card repeats this theme of restoring harmony between free will and fate, but with the dramatic course correction of divine thunderbolt. And the Dragon acts as the final test to prove that we have mastered our desires and passions so that we may progress in harmony to the highest spiritual rewards. In order to pass the test, we must pass through the haunted void. The greatest wisdoms are rewarded only to the brave who confront the darkest shadows of the unknown. The Dragon is a sentinel between the boundary between the material world and the spiritual heavens. Our earthly yearning for riches and other material possessions, including our physical bodies, can have a strong hold. But where the chains of the devil only held us back, the fangs and claws of the Dragon will destroy us completely. We must replace desires of ownership with the understanding that freedom is essential for happiness. The Dragon stands on a hoard of treasures, including the accoutrements of the Emperor and Empress, which symbolize artificial wants and desires for the material world. For the last person on earth, being famous, powerful, or wealthy would be meaningless. We must let go of mundane attachments. Transcendental knowledge is exclusively reserved for those who are in command of their passions. By mastering desire, we conquer the Dragon. If not, the Dragon conquers us. Our journey through the cards will continue soon with the grace of the highest virtues. Until then, please click that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment to show your support. As always, you can find out more about me and the Allcento Tarot at my website, offbeatartwork.com. And until next time, brightest blessings on your spiritual journey.